Welcome to my short video on how to change the rear brake pads on a Corvette C5. That's a 1997 through 2004. Had to do that on my car recently, looked all over the web, couldn't find anything about the rear pads, all I could find was the fronts. So I decided to make a video of how to do the rear. First off, here's a shot of all the new pads if you order a complete set. The front ones are the larger ones. The smaller ones on the left are the rear pads. And also shown are all the clips and the anti-rattle clips that go with it. That's all that comes when you order it direct. I went ahead and went straight back with stock GM pads just like originally came. To start with, you'll want to take off the lug nut covers, the plastic lug nut covers, and loosen all the lug nuts on the wheel that you're about to pull off while it's still down on the ground. That makes it much easier, of course, to get them loose. Don't take them all the way off, just loosen them about a quarter turn, maybe a half a turn at the most. Next, you'll want to open the hood and get ready to push the caliper back out. So you got to make room for that brake fluid that you're going to push back into the system. So as I've shown here, you take the cap off your brake reservoir and then you cover the area with some paper towels because you don't want to splash that brake fluid on anything with paint. It will take the paint off. So cover it up very good, but leave yourself plenty of room to work around there as shown. Next, go ahead and jack up whichever wheel you've loosened the lug nuts on. Do it the normal way like you would taking off the wheel to detail it, or however you do that. You can do one corner at a time. You don't have to do something special and jack up the whole rear of the car or anything. Just put the jack in the normal place under the edge and jack it up. Go ahead and take the lug nuts off, take the wheel off, and you should see something that looks like this. There's the brake disc and the brake pads and caliper. They're on the right. Run your finger around the brake disc. It should feel nice and smooth all the way around. No roughness, no indentations, no nothing. And if it's been stopping normally, you shouldn't have a problem. If you have any kind of problem, grabbiness or something isn't quite right, then you'll have to have your brake disc turned, and I hear that AutoZone does that for about $10. Don't know for sure. I didn't have to have mine done, so check into that if you need to have it turned. Okay, now we got to take the brake caliper off. So grab a 15 millimeter, and I used a crescent wrench, and there's a bolt on the top and the bottom of the caliper. Loosen both those up. Use the crescent wrench to hold the inside part of the bolt steady. And go ahead and take that loose. Shouldn't be real super tight. Just a standard wrench ought to do it. And when you get it off, it'll look like this. You can see here we've got the brake pads, the old brake pads, and the caliper is off. Just lay it up on top of the suspension. Don't let it hang from the hose. Lay it up on top of the suspension out of the way, or take a wire and hang it up with a piece of wire. Next step is to remove the old pads. Here I've shown a picture with the pads removed. The pad holders, the old rusty ones, are still in there. You want to pull those out while you're there and put in the new ones that came with the kit. They just pop right out. Might need a screwdriver to pop them out. Mine came out with just my bare hands. Pop the new ones in. Make sure you get them all the way in. They should go all the way back. So pay careful attention before you pull them out exactly how they're mounted in there. It's not hard. Easy to do. Okay. Now, here's just a picture of my old pads on the left, the new pads on the right. You can see how far they were worn down. And in fact, they were worn down to the squeaker. That's that metal clip-looking thing you can see very easily on the new pads here. Mine on the old pads were wore down until that started rubbing against the disc, and it squeaks, and then you know it's time to change the pads. Now the squeaker is only on the inside pad. So there's not one on each pad. There's only one on the inside pad. So the outside pad has no squeaker. The inside pad has the squeaker. Okay, so next step is to install the new pads. You've got the new pad holders installed already on the step before, so the new pads just slide right in there. They're not very tight. They'll just lay there kind of loose, and you're ready for the next step. The next step is to take a C-clamp and push the cylinder back in. It has been pushed out as the pads wear, so now you've got to push it all the way back in. Takes a pretty large C-clamp. That's about a 6-inch C-clamp there, maybe bigger, maybe an 8-inch C-clamp right there. So it takes a good-sized C-clamp to push it in. When you're pushing it back, go slow. If you go too fast, you're going to squirt that brake fluid out and get it all over your car. So go slow. Push it in about, I don't know, 3/4 of the way. Get out and check the reservoir. Make sure you're not overflowing. And if you are, then you've got to get a sucker of some sort, a turkey baster or something, and suck that brake fluid out, because you don't want to let it spill out and get on your engine or anything up there. So go slow as you push it in. Okay, once you've got it all the way pushed in, it's time to replace the anti-rattle clip. There's the new one all installed. The other one pops right out. The new one pops right back in. It's easy to do. Takes your fingers, no tools. All right, now you're ready to reinstall the brake caliper back in place over the pads. So just hold it back on there, put in the top bolt, start it, and then put in the bottom bolt, get it started, and then tighten it up good with your 15mm wrench. And at the end, you must torque it to, I believe it was 25 foot-pounds. It should be instructions in the set of new brake pads and stuff on what that torque is, but I'm pretty sure that was 25 foot-pounds. Okay, now you're all but done. You've got everything installed again. Put the wheel back on, tighten up the lug nuts, 100 foot-pounds each, once you've got it back down on the ground, of course. 100 foot-pounds on each lug nut. Do the star pattern. Don't do them side by side. Surely you know that. And you are all done. Now, the next thing to do after you get both tires done, or in my case, I went ahead and did all four, and the front pads almost are the same, just bigger, same technique. Once you're done with your brake pad installation, you should do a break-in. So you break in the pads and seat them properly. Instructions for doing that are available at www.stoptech.com, stoptech.com. But basically, they suggest you go out and do a series of 10 partial braking events from 60 miles per hour down to 10. Not to a dead stop, down to about 10 miles an hour, speed right back up to 60, stop again. Do that one right after the other. About the 8th or so, you'll start smelling the brakes. That means you're getting them good and hot. That's what you want. Do that 10 times. Then drive a while, let them cool off, 5 miles or more, at least 60 miles an hour, even faster is okay. Don't exceed the speed limit. And then do it again. 10 more partial braking events from 60 down to 10. Never stop completely. If you stop completely, you're going to ruin them. And do that 10 times, and then 10 times again. So a total of 20 stops. And then go drive them a while, let them cool off again. You're all done.